go. LFA 222, little UFC 322 pregame. We got double twos on both of these cards. Lot to look forward to. Lot to get invested in. Lots of interesting fights. Prospects tonight, excuse me. Real fights tomorrow. We got 173 as well. Judah's already jumping in here. What's up, Judah? What's up, Judah? Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good day. Whatever time it may be for you. Let's see. Still new to this thing. Not the best with the technology here. So we'll see what's happening. But we got LFA 222. LFA always delivers. Always great stuff from the LFA cards. But we're here. In between fights, of course, Alex Pereira's sister, she just had her fight. I believe she won it by decision. She fights in a similar style, not quite as aggressive, not quite as dangerous, not quite as powerful. Therefore, went to decision. A little bit lackluster from what I saw. But that's okay. That's okay. The ladies, they just can't quite deliver the same way. It's just a fact of the matter. Can't wait for Angela Hill tomorrow, of course. We can't wait for that one. That's the one to look forward to. Forget about Shevchenko Weili. I'm in it for Angela Hill and whoever she's fighting. Woo-wee. All right. Everything looks good to go, up and running to the best of my abilities here. We'll see how it goes. I only have so much talent for this. We're just having fun. This ain't for money, not for fame. Just having a good time. Watching for some prospects, because why not? There's fights on tonight. Yes, sir, Judah. Yes, sir. There are fights on. LFA 222, UFC Fight Pass. Of course, we broke the news earlier today. Some other breaking news. Theo Vaughn has arrived and taken his seat at UFC 322. He's at MSG already, spending the night just in case. He, of course, cannot miss a single fight. But yeah, we've got LFA 222 headed down from above, from the UFC Fight Pass for us. Eileen Perez gets a decision victory. Let's refresh the page, see what's going on. Not on ESPN, Judah. Not on ESPN. We got him on UFC Fight Pass. Fight Pass. So next up we got, looks like Josh Harvey versus Nathan Garib. Let's see. Nathan Nasty Garib, 32 years old, 12-3 record. Where's he fighting out of? American Top Team, 5'8". 155-pounder here. Has one loss in Bellator, one loss in the LFA. He's got one fight tonight. We'll see what he can do. Has a canceled fight from earlier this year in the PFL. Not too many good names on the record that I recognize. Cody Law has taken a loss to Cody Law. Cody Law, not the worst Bellator fighter to ever compete. It is what it is. Fighting out of Arkansas. Maybe he is a Bryce Mitchell disciple. Meanwhile, Josh Harvey. Hook on Harvey. 35, 8-3, and 1. American Top Team, Ashburn. Lots of fights in the NEF promotion. 2 losses. One to a familiar face, if you're a UFC fan, Charles Rosa. Yeah, that's right. Joe Giannetti as well. Joe Giannetti. We got some more fights coming up as well. I like JDM, but do not like how Burns held him down so easily. Well, as a matter of fact, Judah, he did have a broken arm in that fight. Broke his arm early in the first round, rode it out, got the finish in the third round. So take what you will from that. I mean, Michael Morales didn't walk across the cage and one-shot KO Gilbert Burns, and that was a year and a half older. I get the JDM skepticism for sure. I mean, Gilbert Burns was probably not the best contender to earn him a title shot, but he took it on relatively short notice against Bilal after Shavkat fell through. But he had a broken arm. I suspect that was probably why. Can't quite get all four arms down, can't quite build the same kind of base, can't keep the heavy grappler off his back. Burn is on everyone's highlight reel. I mean, if you stick around the game of MMA, it seems that, well, you end up being on somebody's highlight reel eventually. And I think that's just passing the torch on to the next guy, paying it forward to the next guy, continuing to fight, continuing to make money. It's what happens to everybody. Almost everybody went through the same thing. I mean, this is what Ronda Rousey was making fun of UFC fans for. Of course, the fans don't usually care. I don't. If you're a fun, all-action fighter, I'm all for it. I mean, it was sad to see Robbie Lawler take some losses, but then, prevailed in the end. But yeah, had a broken arm. I think that probably had something to do with it. Have you been to a fight? I have been to a few events. I will admit, I'd probably rather watch them at home from a more analytical angle. You get all the camera angles, multiple camera angles, every view of the fight. You don't miss a thing. I gotta be honest. I like watching them at home. As cool as they might be, to go watch them in person. I don't know if you have, Judah. I definitely don't want to dissuade you from going in person. I know that the floor seats probably stink. Haven't sat there myself, but I've sat in a pretty high spot. Which ones I haven't? Sounds like you go to a bunch of them then. Been to UFC, been to some One Championship cards. When one came over to the United States. Those were fun, very fun. But in terms of watching it, I'd rather watch it on TV. Rather watch it on TV. But that's just me. What UFC event? It was Charlotte, North Carolina. And the One Championship cards when they were in Denver. So it was Rosenstruik and Almeida. And it was, who was it? Superlek, Haggerty. Some random events spread all across the country. Here and there. If I happen to be somewhere and there's fights going on in town, you can be damn sure I won't miss it. I'm not at home with the big screen in front of me to enjoy them. Do I stream UFC events? Nah, man. Nah, just having some fun here. There's plenty of other people that stream the UFC events. Probably wouldn't gather many viewers. Plus, I don't really want to. I want to lock in, watch the UFC. Enjoy the UFC. The big events, excuse me. The marquee matchups. I'm too invested in it. I don't want to have to commentate our way through it. All right. Round one underway here between Galib or Garib or something like that. Gahib, I don't know. And Harvey, of course. Potentially Bryce Mitchell's disciple here in Galib. He's got the mohawk. He's got the red hair. What's up, Productions? How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Vacation might be over, but we got fights to look forward to, Productions. Hope you're doing well, friend. All right, some interesting tattoos. Hyped for tomorrow. Who's not hyped for tomorrow? We got the next 24 hours are going to be absolutely stacked. We got UAE Warrior tomorrow. We've got Cage Warriors tomorrow. Prata's going to take Leon out. Let's go. I think so, too. I think he can do it. Or at least I hope so. Now, I think it's possible. Leon is pretty dang fast. He's at 34 years of age, though. I mean, not on the right side of 30. But I will say he's much faster. He could outpoint him to a 15-minute decision. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope for some all-action fights. That's the funny thing we've been talking about, is that a lot of these fights could potentially end up being some sleepers. Could potentially, well, that's not quite the right word to use. They might put you to sleep, I'll put it that way. Might put you to sleep. Let's hope not, though. Let's hope they deliver. There's definitely potential for them to be boring, but I hope they are not. They better not be. Biggest fight night of the year has to deliver in some way, shape, or form. but we're still cooking. Let's see here. We got to adjust some things here so I can see the clock. There we go. That's better. 305, 304, 303 here in the first round. A little bit of a wrestle fest so far. Not a fan of that. I think Brady's going to get smashed. I mean, it's possible, but I think Brady's definitely the better technician. Michael Morales has the judo background. Of course, his parents are Olympians or something like that. My boy Cody Haddon is out. Yep. New guy stepping in. Ethan something or other. With the giant cerebral cortex. The giant skeleton. Skull. I say skeleton, but I mean his head. He's got a giant head. Kind of wild looking. Broke his foot. Yeah, I heard that. His foot was a balloon. Conor McGregor would know very well. I guess you might say that Cody Haddon's not as tough as Conor McGregor, but listen, you got a broken foot. Not going to be fun to fight through that one. Much like JDM fighting through a broken arm with Gilbert Burns and still finishing him. Swam in Miami Beach today. Love that salt water. I'm not a big fan of the beaches. Don't really have a beach near me like that, but I'm glad that you got to enjoy it. Water's getting colder. It's getting to be winter. I mean, it only makes sense. Nathan Garib, 1 minute 34 here. These guys not doing it for me. I don't like to see this back and forth, picking and prodding at range. Not a lot of danger yet. Just feeling each other out. One of these guys, I mean, it's regional MMA. One of these guys could probably just run across the cage and steamroll the other guy. Down to 75 degrees, which is cold for the water. My boy Benil missed weight. Yeah, by 2 pounds. I don't know what happened. I mean, he's a big guy, cuts a lot of weight. Not sure what happened. I mean, he's been in and out of camp for a year now. A couple of scheduled and unscheduled bouts. Oh, shoot. I know Joe Giannetti wasn't the undefeated. Undisputed. No, that's Chael Sonnen. But Joe Giannetti, yep, he's competing here. I think Benoit is going to KO him. It's possible. But I will say if Moicano can dominate Benoit on the ground like that. There's a drop for Garib. Knocks down Josh Harvey. Had to get the name there. Didn't he fight on Tough? I believe he did. I could be wrong. You might be spinning me a false tale here. He does have that loss in the UFC. It's been a long time, though. I think we were talking about this earlier. Mike Trezano, yep. Ultimate Fighter 27. Whew. Been a while since then. Now, I'll be honest. I was not watching full time when that happened, but I recognize him from some of the replays. Michael Trezano. Shout out Mike Trezano. I don't think he's in the UFC anymore. I think he's in bare knuckle now. Yep, bare knuckle. Mike Trezano. Round 1 in the books. Nathan Garib got a knockdown. Rooting for Jack, but confident Islam by sub. I feel like that's kind of the way I'm feeling. I hope Jack can do it, pull it out. It would be exciting, but it'd also be pretty damn cool for Islam to break the streak of Anderson Silva, or tie it. I don't remember exactly whether he's going to break it or tie it here. Seems like a curse. The moment anybody gets close to it, they just fall right off the horse, so we'll see. I'll be disappointed for Jack, but I won't be too upset if either guy wins it. Islam doesn't have the durability of Muhammad, though. We'll see. Sean Brady by Snooze Fest. I don't know. Sean Brady's got some exciting grappling. Very dominant in the grappling. It can be exciting. I hope it's not him just laying on him doing 0 damage. Muhammad could take a beating and keep coming. Well, that's kind of his style. He's that pressure fighter, kind of like a Marab or a Pantoja, right? We've talked about this. I don't think Islam Makhachev can't take a shot. I mean, he hung in there with Dustin Poirier for 4.5 rounds, or 4 rounds in a minute. Against Edwards was very boring. I don't know. I thought that was pretty dang active. I mean, he was doing some serious damage, got the submission. It wasn't a very long fight either. I don't know what you're watching, Judah. I don't know how you can be such a big fan of John Jones in his last couple of performances and you really dislike Sean Brady. Only Luque could crack that granite jaw of Bilal. That's for damn sure. And Nathan Garib with another knockdown here. 3 minutes, 52 seconds left in the second round. Still got some time to work. He backs off, lets him stand up. Who do I think Topuria is going to fight? Sounds like Patty now, but it could be Justin. I don't care. Just feed him somebody. Keep him active. I mean, he's going to run through these guys no matter what. Stipe and Gane were boring. Well, I mean, with considering the recent scandal here with the UFC betting and the throwing of fights, that Cyril Gane one looks pretty damn suspicious. And yes, the Stipe fight, he's fighting a 70-year-old. I mean, it was, the finish was fantastic, but mind you, couldn't beat a Thiago Santos with no knees, couldn't finish Anthony Smith. Need I even bring up the Dominic Reyes fight in which he lost? The Patty buildup would be hilarious. I mean, they got to get that running right now. Maybe they're saving it for tomorrow night to announce it. We'll see. But yeah, the Gane fight, highly suspicious. And the Stipe fight, good finish. But up until that point, took a long time to get that finish. I don't count these fights. They're not real fights, man. You got to take the belt from the champ. I believe Topuria would KO Gaethje easily, but I think Patty can give him a fight. The grappling, the size. Justin's going to want to stand and bang in the pocket, and Topuria's just got one hitter-quitter power. Garib's tearing apart Harvey right now. Not so sure I'm particularly impressed by him. Harvey's just wilting here. 2 minutes down, elbows raining down. They stop the fight. There's your boy, Derek Minner. Derek Minner, nope. Brian Miner. Referee and judge. Stops the fight. Gotta take the belt from the champ. I get the thought process there, but according to the rules, if you win 3 rounds, you win 3 rounds. The judges are gonna give it to you based on damage, not because you're the fucking champion. Dominic Reyes beat his fucking ass pretty thoroughly. Wasn't a one-sided beating, close fight. He definitely won the fight, though. I don't understand the John Jones glaze. I mean, why do you cape up for the guy so hard? What is the point? The dude's a piece of shit. His early fights, fantastic. Great finishes, beat all the legends. Cemented himself as one of the greatest of all time, but I don't understand the caping up for a dude who's such a piece of shit. Dude has beaten his wife on, or girlfriend or fucking fiance. I mean, he can't even fucking marry the girl. Multiple times. Run-ins with the police, steroids, all that shit, man. Very close fight is not a robbery. I didn't say it was a fucking robbery. But Dominic Reyes won that fight. Nobody's saying robbery. All your arguments are just absolute utter bullshit. Doesn't mean he's not the best in the octagon. He ain't the best anymore. He ain't the best anymore. Arguably lost around to a 79-year-old Stipe Miocic who was walking around on pins and needles out there. Dog shit fight. Dog shit performance outside the finish. I really have my suspicions with the Cyril Gane fight. Why did they hate? Why did they heap so much hate on Tom Aspinall? Why? Because he was having a competitive fight with Gane? Of course, because Gane's pretty darn good. Why did Gane just lay over when he fought John Jones? Why do they love John Jones so much? They want him to be the best. They want him to continue to be this. They want to cover up all the bullshit that he pulled. Last two finish who Aspinall beat. Last two finish who Aspinall beat. I don't get what you're saying, man. You don't make any sense, Judah. Don't make any sense. I don't, like, please, somebody explain to me the John Jones glazing at this point. You can say that he's one of the best to ever do it. I really don't have an argument there, but the caping up for him, current day, heavyweight, fat-ass John Jones? What are we doing? Who is Tom Aspinall beat? Oh, I don't know. Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, Volkov. Look at what Volkov's doing. He's beaten damn near every good contender in the heavyweight division. Who the fuck is John Jones beat at heavyweight? Cyril Gane and Stipe? 78-year-old Stipe Miocic. You're telling me that's a better win than Curtis Blades or Volkov or Pavlovich? No. You're kidding yourselves. Wow, Curtis Blades, Pavlovich. Pavlovich was an absolute killer. I mean, look at what he was doing to everybody. Curtis Blades, perennial top 3 contender. Alexander Volkov, arguably the second best heavyweight out there right now. Kuniev beat Blades. Okay, it's been a couple years. And even that one's arguable. Again, try to explain to me how Cyril Gane, who went tooth and nail with fucking Tai Tuivasa, who's so fat he can't even compete in the UFC anymore, tell me how that guy is so much better for John Jones's resume than Pavlovich, who was smoking everybody, and Curtis Blades and Alexander Volkov, who's gone on to now become one of the best heavyweights in the UFC. Why should I entertain these arguments? You bring no logic. John Jones, once upon a time, was a great fighter. Hasn't been a great fighter since, oh, I don't know, 2016, 2017, maybe at the latest. Blades beat Aspinall too. That does not count. It was an injury. He blew his knee out. Curtis Blades did nothing. Curtis Blades admits that he did nothing. This wasn't an arm bar where his arm magically broke. He did nothing to him. He threw a kick, blew his leg out when he stepped backwards onto it, had a prior knee injury which led to that. Please provide me with some real logic that I can discuss with you, because obviously this is just absolute stupidity. Because Gane beat Volkov, I argue the other way, but either way you spin it, Volkov, very good, finished them all within a round. Tell me the amount of times that John Jones has knocked out anybody in the fucking first round with a punch. 0. Tom Aspinall, devastating striker. Productions, Bo Nickel. Landed the kick that led to the injury. Who, Curtis Blades? No, I don't think so. Go rewatch the tape, buddy. You come back to me with a sheet of paper that has actual facts and some actual argument on it, and we can continue to discuss this. Otherwise, we're moving on to Bo Nickel. Can Bo get the KO over Rodolfo? I think Rodolfo Vieira's hands have looked a lot better recently. Of course, I keep shouting out the Tresean Gore fight. Tresean Gore's not the best guy out there. Aspinall took 50-year-old to the second round. 50-year-old? Oh, you mean 40-year-old? 40-year-old who? Do you even know his name? What's his name? Who is this 40-year-old? Former UFC world champion. Starts with an A. Arlovsky, is that who we're talking about? 50-year-old? That Arlovsky that was competitive in the heavyweight division up until just a couple years ago? That guy who's been around for a long time? Anyway, I don't know if Bo Nickel's going to get the knockout here. I think the best way to prove that he is continuing to grow, would be to wrestle Rodolfo Vieira, who's got all the jiu-jitsu accolades, right? Same argument with Stipe. I don't think Arlovsky, he's getting knockouts in every other promotion. You can't compare Stipe and Arlovsky right now. Arlovsky does not look like an utter shell of himself. Stipe looked like he was walking on pins and needles, man. It is not the same argument. Arlovsky looked better after the Tom Aspinall fight than Stipe has looked. He looks like he's falling apart at the seams if you go check him out on social media. He looked like he was falling apart at the seams before he fought John Jones. They dragged him out of retirement. Arlovsky's still not retired. Stipe 100 times better than Arlovsky. That's a stretch. I don't care. It doesn't count, man. You pull somebody out of retirement who looks like he's 90 years old walking around out there. It's not the same as an active Andrei Arlovski who's taking fights every 3 or 4 months, beating up on decent contenders. I can pull up his resume if you want. These are just retarded arguments, man. Absolutely stupid. Bring some context into the conversation. You're providing no context. You're just laying up these farcical arguments. I can work my way around every single one. Arlovski has 24 losses. He's been around the game for a lot longer. He's been facing more devastating opponents than a lot of Jon Jones. Jon Jones was fighting a lot of guys that were much smaller than him. Arlovski was a small heavyweight, facing a lot of guys with some serious knockout power. Arlovski is better than Stipe nowadays. Oh yeah, nowadays, for sure. Don't try to debate with Hardcore Hater. He will get you. Listen. Listen. I'm just here. Times Jon Jones loses by 100, still not as many. All right, brother. You know I'm just going to start ignoring you because it's just stupid. I just don't I just want you to explain to me, Judah. You can have these opinions. I got no problem with it. You can view Jon Jones as the greatest. You can go suck his dick and, tell me that he's the best person to ever walk the face of the earth and he's a man of this and a man of that. But let's be honest. He is not the same as he once was. He has not been the same for 10 years. He hasn't been one of the greatest of all time. Jon Jones, Alex Whitehouse, let's go. I'm all for it. Why not? He's not providing reasoning. Judah, you don't have to have these paragraphs written. I just need why do you love him so much in 2025? What is the draw to him? Why are you even interested in him? I literally could give a shit if this guy fights anymore. Don't care. How he's the best fighter in the world right now, never lost his title? Because he never took on a real challenge. That's just stupid, man. Anyway. We're still waiting for the next fight to happen. Let's see if we can find the UFC card. We can talk it through, look it over again. One more time. One more sleep. Gone, the guy who was only competing in MMA for 2.5, 3 years prior to the Jon Jones fight, who's making giant leaps, steps, progressions in his game every damn month. This guy who's getting better week in, week out. That guy who's continuing to fight and get better, Cyril Gane. He's way better when he fought Tom Aspinall. Clearly was a bit better. If you want to call that Jon Jones fight legitimate, you can't say that he's been better. What fight made you a fan of MMA? The UFC top 25 best fights of all time, the countdowns they used to show, I think it was on ESPN, maybe Fox or something like that. That was probably the first time that I really got into the fighting. Other than that, it was probably the first Fox card. So what was that? Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos. Early first round finish there. Diaz Daly, that's a throwback. That was a good one. All crazy up in that one. But yeah, for me, probably the Cain Velasquez JDS fight. That first one on Fox, and then replays of Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald too. Rep proof, he's gotten better as he's gotten older. What are you fucking talking about? He's not 90 years old. This is stupid. He's gotten better because he's only been training in MMA since like 2019. Absolutely stupid. What's up, Dame? Un Pan. Robbie Lawler was the man. Hell yeah. Islam Makhachev. You got Islam Makhachev. Is that your pick for this weekend? I know a lot of people are picking him by submission. That's probably what my brain is telling me. What my heart is telling me, Dame, is that JDM might pull off the upset here. Might just be too big. I mean, we saw them at the weigh-ins earlier today. We can find that picture. I was shocked to see how skinny Islam Makhachev looked at the weigh-ins. Like I suspected, still cutting a lot of weight. Maybe not cutting it properly. I don't know. Maybe overestimating how much the cut was going to do to him. Let's see if I can find the image. Jones is dog shit now. Yeah, Jones is fucking overrated, dog shit. Do I want to see him fight Pereira for the pure spectacle of it? Wouldn't have a problem with that. Wouldn't have a problem with him fighting Aspinall. I don't know if he beats Cyril Gane today. I don't know if you can convince me that Cyril Gane wasn't paid off to throw that fight. Are they fighting right now? No, Dame. No. We're watching LFA. So Alex Pereira, Poatan, his sister, competed earlier. She got a big win. A Bryce Mitchell disciple, he got a big knockout win. Now we're on to Regivaldo Carvalho versus Gustavo Pintos. How can I convince you that he didn't throw the fight? It would be hard. I really would be hard pressed. Now I don't want to believe it. That's not my argument, Judah. You're not listening to my argument. My argument is that Cyril Gane has actually gotten better since then. He's only been training since 2019. You watch these guys. Alex Volkanovski starts when he's 22, 23. I think John Jones would have beat Gane that easy. He might have. I'm not saying he didn't. It's not my argument, Judah. So you're pulling shit out of context here. You said he threw the fight. I said it. Are you fucking retarded? I said he might have. Do you not understand the word nuance? Please tell me you're not that stupid. John Jones, what was it? He ducked under a punch. Cyril Gane overextended. Got to the back. Took him down pretty easily. We know Cyril Gane, not the best grappler. And subbed him. He had barely any defense for it, which I found questionable, but he fucking laid an egg. Dude shit his pants. I don't know. But I also have questions. I can acknowledge that it was a good win and it was impressive, but I can also say, wow, that was really quick, and considering that Cyril Gane is beating up on a Derek Lewis, beating this guy, beating that guy, looked pretty good. How do you get run over by a fat-ass John Jones that quickly? Maybe he's just that good. But you can't tell me that in 2.5 years, 3 years, that he hasn't improved dramatically. He'd only been fighting for 3.5 years up to that point, 4 years. No defense because John is extremely strong, probably the strongest of all time. Then you're just an absolute retard. He's a light heavyweight. He's skinny. He's not even a thick, dense light heavyweight. Judah, you're absolutely stupid, my friend. You're absolutely stupid. Don't pretend. I know you're just trolling, but I don't understand the John Jones glaze. Please explain to me the John Jones glazing. Why do you love John Jones so much? What has made you think he's improved dramatically? I can't say it for sure. I'm not in the gym with him, but a guy who started training, hadn't even been training until 2019, and then reaches the pinnacle of the sport. Now, I know the UFC heavyweight division isn't all that great. I know it's not all that great. As you can see, John Jones ran him over, but it's now been almost twice as long since then. You can't tell me these guys aren't making strides in their games, leaps and bounds in their games. Look at Volkanovski. Starts when he's 22, 30 years old, 31, 32. Look at what he has done. Look at what he has done, man, at that age, in such a short time period. So you're saying he nearly beat... Who are we talking about here? So you're saying he beat Ngannou? Not close to his prime. What are we talking about here? Ngannou's one of the... He started late, didn't have the same damage, didn't have the same kind of wear and tear on the body that grappling, striking, boxing, whatever you want to say, whatever mixed martial arts you want to pick. He didn't have that wear and tear on his body. You know that heavyweights can be better the older they get. Somebody like Stipe Miocic, who's been fighting for a long time in the UFC, who's got miles on him, please provide me with a good argument, Judah. This is just stupid bullshit you're spewing at me. Gane nearly beat Ngannou, and you're saying Gane wasn't close to his prime. How do we know we haven't seen the best from Cyril Gane? How do we know that he didn't beat Tom Aspinall? We don't know yet. But don't pretend to me that John Jones is some fucking goat because he beat Cyril Gane 3 years ago by a very skeptical finish. That's all I got to say. You provide to me a legitimate argument in which heavyweights do not have I don't know what the right word would be, but they are very good early into their 40s, late into their 30s. Almost every other division does not have this same factor playing in. The heavyweights do not take the same kind of damage. They don't have the same kind of wear and tear. They don't fight as often. They don't fight as aggressively with such a pace, such a pressure, so much damage. Not skeptical at all. Complete domination. Fine, that's your opinion. That's your opinion, but how does this guy just roll over and give it up like that? When was the last time you saw some bullshit like that? Not very often. Last time I saw that was, I don't know, Isaac Dolgarian leaving his neck out there. I don't care, man. I'm not going to argue this. It's just stupid. You're wasting my time. Provide me a real argument. Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier, late into their 30s, were still good fighters. Heavyweights do not age the same as other divisions. You're saying Gane at 32 is worse than at 35. Yes, I probably am. Okay. What are you fucking talking about? What are you fucking talking about? This guy hasn't been through the same gauntlet of mixed martial arts as a Stipe Miocic at 47 years old fighting John Jones. Yes, he was worse at 32 than 35. If you're going to provide to me some real argument with some real context here, then I'll shut the fuck up. These are retarded arguments. Heavyweights do not track the same as the other divisions. Even light heavyweight does not quite track the same as bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight. It's not the fucking same, dude. How did Bilal Muhammad win the belt at 35? He's not in his prime anymore. Prime is at 29 to 32 on average. Not for fucking heavyweights. Maybe physically, but heavyweights have to have a level of skill that surpasses their physical prime. You're telling me Ngannou isn't a fucking physical beast? The dude's damn near 40 years old. Shut the fuck up. Go read a book. Go watch some fucking fights. That's just coming out of your ass. Is it the same thing? Nobody's not acknowledging that a physical prime for an adult male is about 28, could even stretch down to 27 to 32, 33 years old. It varies by person. That's a fact. It's not exact for everybody. You said it yourself, on average. But these heavyweights, in terms of MMA, in terms of fighting in the UFC, what are you fucking talking about? Some of these heavyweights haven't been fighting the same amount of time. Look at Gable Steveson. You're telling me that his prime is going to be right now? He's a physical fucking monster. He could run over everybody right now. He's not 29 years old. But he could take a lot of knockouts, and when he's 30 years old, he could look like an absolute shell of himself because he's taken too much damage. So Miocic should have been entering his prime during the Jones fight. Oh, when he's 46 years old, he's been fighting since what? He was in his mid-20s in the UFC. He's taken all this damage. He's been through all these wars. What are you fucking talking about? Every single fighter has different sets of circumstances. Every single fight, every single fighter. Provide me real context. You're basing everything on averages. You're basing me everything on bullshit. Provide me real factual evidence. You're not. You're basing this on numbers. You're basing it on paper. These are fights. These are people throwing hands. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen from fight to fight. Shut the fuck up. Go read a fucking book. Go watch some fights. This shit fucking does not matter what the average says. The average, we base things based on the average. We look at the average and we base what's going on off the average. We don't take the average and go, well, this is absolute fact and he's just this. 40 years old. You're telling me Stipe Miocic was 40 years old when he fought John Jones? Then you're stupid. Go look at the tail of the tape. You said you watched the fight. Why the John Jones dick riding? I'm not even saying he wasn't great. He was a great fighter. He was. He's not anymore. So Gone in his prime caused you because you said so. Got it. All right, Judah. I'm not even going to argue with you anymore. It's pointless. This guy sucks John Jones' dick. Maybe it's John Jones. Maybe this is his burner account. He's still the best in the world. No, he's not. I could name you, I don't know, 6, 7 other champions that are better than him. Even without Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane. You want to take Tom Aspinall out of the equation? Fine. I can name you 7 other fighters right now that are 10 times better than John Jones. John Jones is a shell of himself. John Jones is a shell of himself. Dude's a piece of shit, and he's scared to fight Tom Aspinall. They offered him $30 million, didn't take it. Why not? You say it's so easy, you would dispatch of him so easily, John Jones would run him over so easily. Oh, look at what he did to Cyril Gane. So therefore, he'd do that to Tom Aspinall. I'd love to see it. Why don't you do it for $30 million? Nobody else is getting paid $30 million, John. Why exactly would you not take that fight? Why wouldn't you? The dude has only ever struggled with guys that are his size or larger. Even Stipe Miocic nearly took the second round off of him. Please try to explain these to me. You can't. Scared like Aspinall when he was poked without... Poked? What about Cortez Acosta was poked by his teammate? Again, you want me to go through this entire fucking thing? Nobody wants to listen to this because it's stupid. Waldo Cortez Acosta, in that fight, Mark Smith was stopping it via TKO. Told Waldo to move. Told Waldo to move. Waldo knew that this was his second chance of redemption. This was resurrection. Resurrecting his fight. Resurrecting his chance to get his win money. He showed fucking badass. It was badass. Got the win. Got the knockout. Don't compare that to Tom Aspinall. Don't you dare compare that. You can't. Does it look bad? Sure. Not avoiding that. It makes Tom Aspinall look bad. But when you're the champion of the world and you're in a high-level fight like that, they stopped the Waldo Cortez Acosta fight via TKO. He knew that this was his second chance at life, his second chance to get something done. And he showed up, showed out. It was fantastic. But it's not the same. They caught the Tom Aspinall foul. The referee stopped the fight. They did not catch the Waldo Cortez Acosta foul. They let it continue, let it get stopped via TKO, and then retroactively rewound the tape. Do I think Jones should get the title if Gane beats Aspinall? No. Jones would have to beat Cyril Gane again. You don't just magically give the belts to other people. Just get out of it. Get the fuck out. I appreciate you, Judah. It's fun. It's fun talking. But please, bring some context here. Provide some context. You cannot give me a sheet of items and say, this is fact. Where is your reasoning? There is no reasoning. You are saying things. Some of your arguments are not illegitimate. I acknowledge them. You bring up some good points. But a lot of this is bullshit. And a lot of this is trolling, and you know it. And I just don't understand the John Jones glazing in 2025. He was a great fighter. Sick fighter. One of the best to ever do it. Best light heavyweight to ever do it. No question. I think Alex Pereira is closing in on him, but come on. Look up when a male enters his prime. Okay, and you tell me exactly why some fighters crash and burn before they hit the age of 29. Have you heard of Sage Northcutt? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're done. It's over. Look up Rory McDonald. What happened to that guy? What happened? Not even trying to disparage them. But tell me what fucking happened to them. Tell me that Rory McDonald hit his peak when he was 32 years old, Judah. You can't. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Get the fuck out. Get out of here with that. I get what you're saying. But that is a physical prime. MMA doesn't work the same. You have to meld the skills with the physical talent. Just because it's your physical prime does not mean you are the best, most tactical fighter. That's not the best you'll ever be. People train MMA into their 50s and 60s. They are technically better later in life because they're gathering skills. Their bodies fall apart, therefore they're not the same kind of fighter. Don't pretend that we're talking purely about physical prime. Gable Steveson has been a high-level athlete for a long time. He may not be the same as he is now at the age of 30, even though according to you, his physical prime is 29 to 32. His body might start falling apart at that point because he's been fighting and doing wrestling or whatever sport he's been into the last couple of years because he's put his body through so much shit. Why do football players start falling apart at the age of 30 nowadays? Why are these running backs falling apart at 30 years old? I mean, John Jones left because he had nothing to prove. He wanted Alex, they didn't give it to him. Because why the fuck does Alex Pereira even make any sense? The dude gained a fucking beer gut that was hanging down to the fucking floor, and he wants to move back to light heavyweight because he knows that he can just, well, Tom Aspinall is going to be a tough one to take down because he's a big physical guy. Alex Pereira, you know, I'm his size. I'm bigger. I've put on more weight. I'll just take him down because he's not much of a wrestler, not much of a grappler. You can see the through line here. He wants Alex Pereira because of the disparity on the ground. This isn't a question. If anybody has common sense out there, let Judah know. It's not just me. I'm not crazy. It's very clear that he wants a Ciryl Gane because Ciryl Gane's ground game is lacking. He doesn't want Tom Aspinall because Tom Aspinall's pretty damn good on the ground. Doesn't want Francis Ngannou because Francis is not too bad on the ground. He's been training in the jiu-jitsu realm for quite a long time. He wants Alex Pereira, though, because he knows Alex Pereira's weak on the ground. Nobody cares about Aspinall. He wanted the bigger fight with Alex. It is the bigger fight. It's probably the bigger name. Who the fuck cares? Why do you hate? Tell me why you hate Tom Aspinall so much. Please tell me. I'd like an explanation. Why do you hate Tom Aspinall? Prior to the eye poke, why did you hate Tom Aspinall? Why do you suck John Jones' dick every night? Tell me why. Please explain to me why in 2025 you love this guy so much. We can talk about and reminisce about John Jones from the early 2010s all you want. Got no problem with that. Sick fights. Sick finishes. Great fighter. Not anymore. He simply wanted the biggest fight. Right. The biggest fight in which he's not going to be paid $30 million. He says he's all about the money. He says he wants the bag, but he turned down $30 million for Tom Aspinall. I can guarantee you they're not going to pay him $30 million for Alex Pereira fight. Absolutely not. Because he quit with his first adversity. You weren't watching Tom Aspinall on the regional scene, you absolute fucking dunce. Shut the fuck up. You weren't watching Tom Aspinall on the regional scene when he tapped out to a heel hook? Who wouldn't? How do we know that they had medical coverage or insurance? It's regional MMA. It's getting paid at most a couple $1,000? And you're going to risk getting your knee blown apart? Shut the fuck up. When the fuck did John Jones get eye poked, eye gouged? Please explain to me when that happened. Oh, I don't know, because that motherfucker pokes every single fighter that he comes across. Jones didn't tap when his arm nearly broke. That's why he's the best. It was in the fucking fight. It was in a championship fight, motherfucker. Not on the regional scene. Not on the regional scene. In a fight that he was winning. Get out of here. This is stupid. You're just spouting facts with no context, with no backup. You have no argument. No, he didn't tap, but he was winning the fight. He's ahead. And he's about to lose. You're telling me that somebody in that situation wouldn't do the same thing. You're telling me that he's so much better. Aspinall would have tapped that? We don't know because he hasn't been put in that kind of situation, dumbass. Regional scene getting paid pennies compared to what John Jones was getting paid for the fight with Vitor Belfort in which he was winning. Try to compare the two. Try to make that fit. Tell me exactly how that happened. You're going to try to tell me that Islam Makhachev is not one of the greatest fighters to ever do it because he got a knockout early in his career, early in the UFC? You're going to tell me that Charles Oliveira, because he has losses on his record, is not one of the best to ever do it? He has his ankle and eye. He tapped to an eye poke. He did not tap to an eye poke. It was a foul, an illegal blow. Not supposed to happen in fights. I haven't seen John Jones get eye poked. Again, try to tell me. Figure out, where has John Jones been eye poked in which blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Ciryl Gane fucking dug his whole entire hand into his eyes, man. An illegal foul. An illegal foul. Not legal. The armbar, completely legal. He was hitting the balls by Gane, and he continued. Wasn't as bad. Different situation. Your eyes are not the same as your nuts. Please tell me how many nut shots have resulted in exploding testicles. And then try to tell me or explain to me how eye pokes have never caused any damage to anybody's eyes. How many eye pokes have caused damage to someone's eyes, a fighter's eyes? How many nut shots in the UFC have resulted in serious testicular damage? Probably very few, if any. I'd rather get poked. How about you? Like that? I'd rather get kicked in the nuts because I've been kicked in the nuts many times. I've been poked in the eye. I've had my eye swell up because of an eye poke. I've had my eye spasm because of an eye poke. Nut shots hurt. Getting hit with a soccer ball punted right at your nuts hurts like hell, but you walk it off. After a few minutes, you walk it off. Eye pokes, my eye swelled up. Was really hurt for hours. Not minutes, hours. My eye was spasming for 10 to 20 minutes. Couldn't open my eye. Crying. Tears running out of my eyes. I don't want either to happen. I don't want my vision impeded. I don't want the risk of losing my fucking vision as opposed to getting my nuts kicked in and my stomach hurts. Being kicked by an elite kickboxer is much worse. Okay, dude. Okay. Okay, buddy. Gustavo Pintos fighting out of Argentina here. 2.5 minutes. 2:54, excuse me. A little bit off on this one. Pintos 9-0, undefeated. Has now dropped Carvalho multiple times in the fight. Got him cut open, got him bloody, got him beaten. Doing a great job here. I'd say he probably needs to get a finish here if he wants to get on the UFC's radar, but he is looking good. Let's see how old he is. Featherweight, 9-0, 33. Not on the right side of his prime, as we've been talking about, but I don't know. A little bit too old to get things kicked off in the UFC at featherweight. Maybe if he was a heavyweight. But Pintos doing some good work. Looks to be tiring here a bit. Had a lot of output. Dropped Carvalho multiple times already. Done some serious damage. Cut him open. Busted him up. Been looking good. I don't know if the finish is coming. However, I would like to see it. It's been a pretty good scrap, though. We've been chatting. Having some good times talking about Jon Jones. I think I'm done with Jon Jones for the night. I've ranted and raved enough. Judah's got his opinion. I've got mine. That's fine. He can go back to bed with Jon Jones and give him a little sucky. That's all right. Man, dude. But Judah, that Lyoto Machida finish, though, choked him out, dropped him on the ground like a fucking sack of potatoes, was pretty fucking sick. Carvalho gets the takedown. Secures position here. Looking to wrap the legs. He's going to need a submission if he wants to win this one. Gets on the back. Looking for a triangle, maybe an armbar. I can't see it. Got a bad camera angle. Can't quite see what's going on. Pintos 9-0. Carvalho with an epic comeback here potentially in the works. Some elbows from top position. Now Pintos works his way out of it. He's on top. He's on the back now, but he's exhausted. Both bruised, battered, and bloodied now. 15 seconds left. Carvalho's going to need some kind of flashy KO here. I don't think he's going to get it. Pintos, though, looks like he's going to secure that 10-0 record. Good stuff. Anyway, thank you, Judah, for jumping in here. We can talk Jon Jones another time. I've had enough of it, I got to be honest with you. Tired of talking Jon Jones. He's irrelevant. Doesn't really matter anymore. Not really fighting. I mean, I can make videos and talk about the news regarding Jon Jones, but as for Jon Jones fighting again, I doubt we'll ever see him. He's begging on his hands and knees, pleading, willing to do anything, very desperate. Maybe he'll return, maybe he won't, but I don't know if I really care. I don't. But anyway, Judah, if you want to talk about something else, I'm all for it, buddy. All for it. Anybody else out there, let me know what's going on. Hope you guys are doing well. Glover Teixeira also in the cage, coaching up his guy, taking a loss here, I think. But yeah, we can talk UFC 322. We can talk 173 even. It's all up to you guys. Pesci Jr. gets dick rides by Dana. Pesci, I think he does too. Now, again, we don't want to diminish the fact that John Jones is one of the best to ever do it. He's one of the best to have done it, right? There's no denying that. Not denying that in any way. Now, Judah's going to jump in here and get all over us, Pesci. But he was really damn good. Finishing everybody. But over the last 10 years, not as impressive. Falling off the wagon. The drugs, the performance enhancers, the run-in with the law, beating his wife. I mean, come on now. It's not the same. He's been through too much. He is not the same fighter. Something has happened. Jones would have had 4 losses if the fights wasn't rigged, to be honest. Which ones, Pesci? I mean, the one that stands out to me is definitely the Dominic Reyes one, that's for sure. Which other ones are you thinking about? Because, again, now, according to the rules, he has a loss on the record, the Matt Hamill fight. I don't really count that as a loss now. It's kind of just whatever. Everybody kind of overlooks it. Kind of like people overlook the Islam Makhachev loss that he took by knockout. That was actually legitimate. This is what we were looking at earlier. Islam Makhachev weighing in, looking pretty damn gaunt, even though he was only cutting down to 170 this time. But yeah, Pesci, I'm curious. What are the 4 fights you think that he lost? We talking the DC fight that they turned to a no contest? Is that what we're talking about? Let me know. But yeah, Islam looking pretty gaunt here. JDM looking dense. Now, again, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the fight will turn out, but did Islam Makhachev overestimate? Did he overestimate the weight cut? Hard to say. All right. Well, while we're in between fights, we can talk UFC 322. Of course, Beneil Dariush missed weight. I believe this is the first time he's missed in his entire career. Interesting. Not sure what happened there. But he has been in and out of camp, a lot of cancellations. So he might have been up, down, the weight fluctuating, maybe not quite where he wanted it to be. I don't know what's wrong. Could be sick. You never know. Bo Nickel, Rodolfo Vieira, prelim, headliner to get the pay-per-view right before it kicks off. That's going to be a good one. We're going to see, is Bo Nickel as good as he says he is? Ranier de Ridder is a motherfucker. We know he's tough. We know he's gritty, the knees to the body. Maybe Bo Nickel's weak to the body. Maybe he doesn't like getting punched in the face. I mean, I sure don't, but if you're going to be a great fighter, you're probably going to have to take some damage to get there. Especially against a guy like Khamzat Chimaev. Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodriguez, absolute banger at middleweight. 2 middleweight fights back-to-back there. That's going to be fun. Blanchfield, Tracy Cortez, it's a high-ranking matchup. Kind of just is what it is, but again, you guys let me know. Drop it in the comments. Would love to hear it. I'm spitting all over my mic here. Apologies for that. Ethan Ewing taking this one on like 24 hours notice, 36 hours notice. The dude's got a blockhead. Maybe he can take the punches of Malcolm Wellmaker. He did just get a knockout himself 4, 5, 6 days ago now, last weekend. Fantastic knockout flatline KO for him. Good shit from Ethan Ewing last week. Taking advantage of Cody Haddon breaking his foot. Malcolm Wellmaker, you know they want this guy to be a star when they're trying this hard to keep him on the MSG card. Absolutely. Cody Haddon, of course, was a replacement fighter himself. Now it's Ethan Ewing, a second replacement. Meerschaert, I don't know. Can the vet shart all over Kyle Dawkins? I don't think so. Kyle Dawkins is likely going to run right through Gerald here. Kyle just hungrier, younger, more powerful. But Gerald, 3 rounds, GM3. They don't call him GM3 for no reason. 3rd round, GM3. Chepe Mariscal, Pat Sabatini, I keep saying it. Jiu-Jitsu ace, slight favorite. I'm surprised. I don't know what the deal is with Pat Sabatini. The betting books, the sports books, seems to love this guy, always making him the favorite. They gave him a favorite position over Diego Lopez back in the day. One, he already has Cyril Reyes Santos Gustafsson, but not only that, he also cheated. Well, that plays into effect as well, Pessy. Reyes, Santos, Gustafsson. Now, Gustafsson, you could argue, but I mean, storming back in that 5th round was pretty impressive. The Santos fight, I think he won it pretty clearly. I mean, I know it was split. I know it was close. Santos, that's the thing, though, is he was fighting Thiago Santos on 0 knees. The dude literally had both his knees just gone in that fight. And then the Gustafsson fight was absolutely an all-out war, an all-time fight. Fantastic fight. Jon Jones is the most disappointing fighter of all time. Like, he is the biggest what if. Like, this guy could have beaten everybody at light heavyweight, could have beaten everybody at heavyweight. He could have been, but he fucked it up for himself. He ruined it for himself. Performance enhancers, illegal substances, whatever he was doing, hiding from USADA, just destroying his career. Dude's a dirtbag. Dude's a piece of shit. I can't deny that he was once a great fighter. The amount of eye-poking and illegal kicking. He's got that interview where he says he doesn't clip his nails, doesn't brush his teeth, doesn't take a shower, doesn't put on deodorant, nothing. He is a fucking dirty fighter. He'll do anything to win, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, there's one thing to be a Michael Chandler who follows as much of the rules leading up to the fight as he can, but then when he gets in there, he's willing to literally do anything to win. That's a different level of gladiator. He still has respect enough to fucking trim his fingernails, brush his teeth, and put on deodorant so he doesn't smell like shit in the cage. Jon Jones clearly doesn't have any self-respect, clearly doesn't care about any of that shit, and it's kind of embarrassing when you look back on it. Now, again, does that discredit him for being a great fighter? No, absolutely not. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like it. That's not being respectful. That's not being a class act. That's not showcasing the best of what this sport could have been. Jon Jones is an articulate guy, well-spoken, and he just threw it all away. He threw his entire career away. And it's really sad to see. The guy could have been dominant for 20 years. He's the kind of freak athlete that potentially, taking as little damage as he did throughout a lot of his fights, he could have fought until he's 43, 44, 45, man, and been winning, beating all these guys. If he hadn't destroyed himself, I would look at him in better light and say, yeah, maybe that guy does have a chance against Tom Aspinall, but Tom Aspinall's such a physical freak. Francis Ngannou's such a physical freak. No fucking way Jon Jones outmuscles those guys. No way he just throws them on the ground and has his way with them. Guys that have been training in the jiu-jitsu realm for a long time. Tom Aspinall, his dad's been training him since he was a young boy in jiu-jitsu. Francis Ngannou, physical freak, knockout power. Cyril Gane, apparently he's weak and flimsy to the takedown. I don't know how that happened. If he really beat Cyril Gane that easily, if it's legit, you got to give him his props. It was impressive, but I have my trepidations. I have my hesitation there. I have my problems with how that went. But maybe he's just that good. Maybe he was. Maybe that was the one glimpse of greatness we saw at heavyweight and then never again. Nearly lost that round to Stipe in round 2 of their fight. Rough, man. Anyway. Walkouts here for the LFA card. Joe Giannetti, former Ultimate Fighter 27 finalist against Jose Ferreira. Joe Giannetti. He's still only 30 years old. Been around a long time. Now, I wasn't watching The Ultimate Fighter back then, I'll be honest. But I do know about him. I've seen him, heard about him. Jose Ferreira, 27 years old, 13-2. LFA, some Combate Global fights, some LFN fights. Had a couple of losses recently. Chris Makate, not a bad fighter at all. Tough out. This guy's not bad, and he's got losses to him, so we won't discredit him too much. Leonardo Morales, former UFC fighter, I believe. 2 losses in the UFC. Not very impressive, but anybody else? You guys let me know if you recognize any of these names. Vitor Hugo Silva, not Victor Hugo. Wrong guy. Luis Cortez might be familiar. Nope, probably not the same guy I'm thinking about. Drake Randall. I do recognize Drake. I don't remember a lot about him, I'll be honest with you guys. But yeah, let's see what he's got. Maybe the younger guy. Maybe he'll turn out to be a decent prospect. 6 feet tall for Joe Giannetti versus 5'9", the younger man, Jose Ferreira. Excuse me. All right, announcing the fighters here now. You guys let me know what's going on, what we're looking forward to. And what Judah said, Joke didn't tap when his arm nearly broke. That's why he's the best. So if you're saying that, I could basically say Khabib is the best. So John didn't tap when his arm nearly broke. That's why he's the best. Yeah, again, that doesn't make you a great fighter. Now, it was badass, but he was winning the fight. It wasn't an illegal movement. And again, Pessy, you can rewind it and watch if you want. But what I explained to Judah, and again, Judah can have his opinion and say things about Jon Jones and say he's still the greatest of all time, but he's not the best fighter in the world anymore. And I don't understand the glazing in 2025. You sound like a man of relative reason. Now, I think you're going a little far saying that some of these fights were not legitimate, but that's okay. You're one side of the spectrum, and maybe Judah is the other. Well, guess what? We're all here talking it up, having some fun. But what I explained to him was that Jon Jones was winning that fight. You don't want to give that up because your arm's getting torn up. You know you're winning the fight. Worst case scenario, something is severely wrong with his elbow. I mean, he tore some ligaments in the elbow, didn't break the arm, so he got out of it. Tom Aspinall is what he was equating it to, was that Tom Aspinall tapped out to heel hook on the regional scene. Now, again, Pessy, you explained to me the pay difference between the UFC title fight with Vitor Belfort and Jon Jones and the discrepancy with Tom Aspinall on a regional scene getting paid, I don't know, $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 at most. Do we know that he had insurance? Do we know there was medical coverage in the same way? Was he going to have to pay out of pocket for that? We don't know. You cannot equate them. You cannot equate them. When he's in trouble via heel hook on the regional scene, I don't blame you for tapping out and not blowing your knee out. Now, do I really respect Jon Jones for pulling through that serious armbar that Vitor had him in? Absolutely, not denying it. It was pretty fucking badass, but that doesn't make him the best fighter. That doesn't make him so much better and, oh, Tom Aspinall's a quitter. No. Some people are stupid. I love Yuri Prohaska. I love Nate Landwehr, but when these guys say that they would get their arm broken before they tap on the regional scene when they're fighting, barroom brawlers, I can also say that's stupid. As badass and as much as I love them and appreciate that because they're just badass motherfuckers, as much as I appreciate that, I can also say that's pretty fucking stupid. It's pretty stupid. You're right, and we can see, and can we see the fight between Josh and Garib by any chance? I don't know if I can find the replay for you. It's on Fight Pass. I don't know if they're going to do the, what do you call it? Copyright. I don't know how it works, Pessy. I wish I could just watch the fights and you guys could see them too. But Fight Pass, you got to pay for Fight Pass. Maybe it's streaming out there, Look to the east, I guess, if you're looking to stream. Stream out to the east, if you're looking for that. Maybe it's on there. I'll see if I can pull up a finish. I mean, we got another fight going on. Joe Giannetti, of course, former UFC Ultimate Fighter contestant. Jose Ferreira, 27-year-old, maybe trying to get on the radar of the UFC here. Let's see if I can see any replays from the Garib fight. We got Pintos footage. All right, after this fight's over, Pessy, we'll pull up All right, are you going to watch UFC 322? Of course I'm going to watch it. I don't think I'll be streaming it. I like to enjoy the fights and not have to commentate my way through it or talk my way through it. I know I'm not commentating this one, but we're 2 minutes, 20 seconds into this one. Jannetty, obviously the much taller fighter here. Pesci, I know you might leave soon. I don't know what you're doing hanging out here. I appreciate you, though. Appreciate you nonetheless. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the whole thing. Again, we're not trying to be famous here, Pesci. We're just talking, having a good time. Judah, he's welcome here, too. I really appreciate him. He gives me something to talk about because there wasn't anybody watching earlier. So it was something. It was fun little back and forth. I disagree with him, but that doesn't mean he's not welcome here. Anybody who enjoys fights is welcome here. Now, if you don't like all action fighters and you're a big fan of the boring fighters, you can just pop right out of here. I mean, I don't fucking care. I don't need to hear it. But nah, everybody's welcome here. We're just having a good time. We're not talking politics here. We're not trying to divide everybody and do some bullshit. We're just having fun. I'm gonna watch Islam, JDM, and Wei Li. Shout out Wei Li. One of the only interesting women's fights on the schedule, on the calendar. Here's that finish for you. Hopefully they don't flag me. Maybe I'll have to pause it halfway through here. But Pesci, if you're tuning in, here's that finish from Garib. Seems like maybe he's a Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, maybe Nasty, trains out of Arkansas. Maybe he's a Bryce Mitchell disciple here. I'll let it play for a few seconds. So nice little knee, a right hand drops him. Pesci, support from China? Are you Chinese, Pesci? Is that what I'm hearing? I don't know what Pesci Jr. even means, brother. Got to support the Chinese fighters. Got to support the members of your own country. Now, I don't really have any fighters that I'm tied to nationally. I mean, I'm American. I wish we had some sick American fighters. Now, I really enjoy Sean Brady's mentality. Fight everybody, anywhere, anytime. Try to cement yourself as the #1 contender. I do appreciate that. Sean Brady doesn't have the most entertaining style, but he's pretty active on the ground. Hopefully he gets the win over Michael Morales. But shout out to China. Interesting country there. Maybe you're watching from China. Maybe it's the middle of the day for you, Pesci. I don't know what's going on. You let me know. Anyway, close round there. Not a lot of action. A couple of takedown attempts. We'll back it up. Here's Nate Garib. Big knee, left hand, right hand. Again, I don't want to get the copyright strike here, fellas. So we'll walk it through slowly. We'll walk it here through this slowly. One more time for you. There's the drop. Boom. Bang, pow. Hurts him. Follows up with some nice elbows. Love to see the elbows on the ground here. Teeing off with the elbows. Brian Miner, the referee, steps in. The 12-6 elbows. Beautiful technique. Thank goodness they finally allowed those to be part of MMA again. But a nice knockdown to close out the show. Now, he knocked him down a couple times prior to that, but this was the finishing sequence. Again, elbows. To close the show. Very nice there from Nasty Nate Garib. Round 2, Joe Jannetty versus Jose Ferreira. We're still here. We're still talking. Still having a good time. I don't know. Maybe Judah's out there lurking still, but he was not happy with me. He's busy loving on John Jones. That's okay. He can make fun of me for enjoying Sean Brady. Spinning back fist attempt there by Ferreira. Lands a bit on the back of the head of Jannetty. 440, 433, 432, 431, 430 here left in the second round. Joe Jannetty. A lot of feints, a lot of attempts, but not a ton landed. We got an eye poke. Fingers extended by Ferreira. Now, they said they were going to start enforcing this rule, but apparently not. Now, shit happens in the heat of the moment. Shit always happens, but he was fighting with the fingers outstretched. Hopefully this one's not too bad. Again, we've got an eye poke. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he can continue. But again, we look back at that. Here's the replay. Oh! That's bad. He actually, the way that he swung his right hook, actually punched. So, Ferreira's hands coming towards the eyes. And he actually hits Ferreira's hand, this hand, into his own eye with a punch. He's throwing a right hook, and he actually throws Ferreira's hand with the punch. He's throwing a punch, turning it over, and bumps it right into his own eye there. How about DC, Max Holloway, DJ, Justin, Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Gay, all amazing. All amazing fighters for us. See, those are some of my favorites. These are some of my all-time favorites. Some all-action fighters, some great fighters of all time. Demetrius Johnson, just because you don't get a lot of finishes doesn't mean that you're not an entertaining fighter. One of the best technicians to ever do it, Demetrius Johnson, the way he was running through everybody at flyweight for years. DC, the wrestling, the boxing, putting it all together, the fights with Gustafsson. I mean, what more can you ask for? Now, he had some stinkers in there, here and there. Man, Joe Giannetti's eye looks nasty. Max Holloway always puts on bangers. Justin Gaethje, when was the last time that guy was in a bad fight? Dustin Poirier. All great fighters for the United States. Oh, for us? Or, I thought you were talking about us, the United States. I mean, they're all great. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But right now, we don't have a lot of great American fighters. But honestly, I'm not a huge nationalistic person. I'm a big fan of Carlos Prates. Don't care that he's Brazilian. I'm a big fan of Zhang Weili. I think she's one of the best ladies to do it. She's very dangerous. She's very aggressive. Very good. Fun to watch. One of the few ladies that I can actually sit down and enjoy a fight from. Talk about a cut on the lip, poke of the eye. We don't have a live timer to tell us how long it's been, but he is bleeding a bit. Not sure if the blood's coming from a punch or the eye poke. He's walking back and forth. He might be able to come back. Hopefully he's all right. But yeah. I mean, you could argue Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest to ever do it. You really could. DC, one of the best also. Extremely underrated when it comes to the all-time best ratings, I think. When you're losing to the best of all time, arguably, and John Jones, some argue he is, do you want to include steroid users in that list? I mean, I don't want to, but I can also acknowledge that as a fan, John Jones, what he did early on, great stuff, exciting stuff. It definitely seems bigger, Judah, from a name value perspective. I think you're right. Now, in terms of which one has the higher stakes involved, I would still argue Leon Prates from a personal perspective, because Leon could potentially fall off a cliff here. Third loss in a row. Prates, this could catapult him if he gets a huge knockout. But Sean Brady, Michael Morales, depending how Bilal Muhammad and Ian Gary goes next week, could be the #1 contender bout. So I think they're looking at that one. Like, I think they're ordering it in that way because in terms of the rankings, in terms of the positioning of those fighters in the rankings, one of those guys could be next. Also, if you're looking for a replacement for the main event, you're probably going to want to look at one of those guys, less so Carlos Prates coming off of one win and Leon Edwards coming off of losses. Morales undefeated. Sean Brady's got a hell of a streak for himself, right? I think that's probably their thinking there. But I do agree with you. From a star perspective, I think Prates is much more popular. Sean Brady is American from Philly, which is close to New York, right? Got to think about that. Looks like they've waved the fight off here. Joe Giannetti, eye poked. Terrible situation here. Nobody wants them to fight, though. If Prates wins, he should leapfrog. And where is Shafkat? Shafkat's still injured. Nobody wants them to fight, though. I don't know. I'm excited to see Sean Brady. I think it's nice to see an American. I mean, we were just talking about this. Pesci sounds like a big fan of China. At least a fan from China. Likes Zhang Weili, of course. I want Sean Brady to do good. I think this is his chance to get a title shot. You mean for the title? I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I get you. We're on the same page. We might not agree about John Jones, but we're on the same page here. No, I want to see Sean Brady get the title shot because Bilal, of course, coming off a loss. If he beats Ian Gary, they're probably not going to give it to him. Ian Gary, if he wins, it'll probably be a 5-round decision, pretty boring point fight. If Sean Brady absolutely obliterates Michael Morales, give him the title shot, man. He's not the worst. I like his ground game. I think he's pretty active on the ground. Not as boring as a lot of these guys out there. There's a lot of boring wrestlers, and he's not one of them. Very physical, very technical. His striking isn't the best. So you like Americans. I assumed the British. It depends on the fighter, man. I like Davey Grant. I like Arnold Allen. I do like Tom Aspinall. Even if Tom Aspinall wasn't the champ, I think he's a sick fighter. Great knockout power. Very aggressive. He's got good jiu-jitsu. Well-rounded. Dangerous. I mean, he's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Davey Grant. He just got knocked out. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of him. Arnold Allen. He's got beaten up in a couple of fights. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of him. Physical guy. Aggressive fighter. Stole some rounds off of Max Holloway. Not a big fan of Leon. I think his style is boring. I think he's a very slower, more sparring style fighter. I don't like Sean Strickland. I think he's pretty boring. It doesn't help that he runs his mouth and is kind of an idiot, but I think he's kind of funny sometimes too. But Judah, I'm American. I'm American. I want the Americans to succeed, but just because they're American doesn't mean I'm rooting for them. I'm not rooting for what can we look at on the UFC 322 card? I'm not really rooting for Eric McConaughey. I don't really care. I don't think he's really a UFC level fighter. What do you think Bo Nickal's ceiling is? I don't know. This might be his ceiling for all I know. It's hard to say. I think he can out wrestle and out grapple Rodolfo Vieira. I think he can stay safe on the ground, and I hope that maybe he can get some ground and pound going. Rodolfo Vieira, of course, used to the jiu-jitsu. How is his, ground and pound defense going to be? Can he grab Bo Nickal, keep it safe for himself? I think Bo Nickal's ceiling is whatever his toughness will allow him to take. You know what I'm saying, Judah? De Ridder did not put the beating of a lifetime on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hit him with some good, clean shots. That was kind of the first adversity he'd taken. Maybe the first time he'd ever seriously been punched in the face or taken real damage to the body. Gable Stevenson's ceiling. Oh, speaking of Gable Stevenson, we did have some news earlier today. Judah, glad you brought that up. Gable Stevenson will be making his second MMA appearance at APFC 21 on November 23rd. That's right. Gable Stevenson getting active, staying active. I like it. He's got 2 big finishes so far. One in the LFA, nice early finish there, and then a 15-second knockout in dirty boxing. I think Gable Stevenson's ceiling is higher than Bo Nickal. Now, he might not like getting punched in the face either. Again, Judah, we're going to have to see. Can he take some damage from a Cyril Gane? Can he get jabbed at range from Cyril Gane? I mean, Tom Aspinall, you say that he was getting jabbed up. You might think that he was getting beat up in that round, but Tom Aspinall was continuing to walk forward, no matter what you think about it. Gable Stevenson, Bo Nickal, I want to see them get their faces jabbed up. I want to see what they respond to a jab like. How do they respond to getting punched in the face? Even if it's just a jab, right? I want to see what they respond to that with. Gable Stevenson has been to football. He's been in wrestling. Bo Nickal's been in wrestling. Football, they're clashing into each other all the time, but how much was he really doing? The same kind of thing. How much damage can he take? Because he might not be able to just blitz through everybody, but he also might be able to. The dude's a fucking physical freak. His ceiling, I don't know. Bo Nickal, I feel like his ceiling is only as far as his toughness will take him. I think he can out-wrestle a lot of guys. Can he out-wrestle Khamzat Chimaev? I have hesitations there. MMA wrestling and pure, all-American wrestling ain't the same, right? What do you think, Judah? What are your thoughts on it? What are you feeling? I'm curious. Josh Harvey, that's your boy? I was making fun of Josh a little bit there, I'm not going to lie. American Top Team Ashburn, is that where you're at? Pessy? That's pretty cool. Esteban Gomez, John Bratelli, Josh Hook on Harvey. That stinks. I'm sorry about that. Man, that's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. I was making fun of him, but I think he could be champion for sure. His hands look surprisingly good. Exactly. His hands, now again, they haven't been tested for long enough. Bo Nickel, he's throwing the old jab overhand. Like, that doesn't take much skill. I could go in there and do that. Take my free trial classes, the skills from my trial classes, and jab overhand and not do too much with it. Gable did throw a nice combination. I want to see him get extended a bit beyond 10 seconds. Why has the Aspinall rematch not been set yet? Probably just scheduling. They're trying to figure out this whole Paramount deal. I hope they put it together. I want to see it. It was looking to be a good fight. But man, Pessy, I'm sorry that happened, brother. Sorry that happened. Tough. Ashburn, Virginia. Shout out American Team Ashburn. American Top Team Ashburn. Sounds like Pessy might be a real fighter, Judah. Sounds like Pessy might be a real fighter. I wouldn't talk too much smack. Thoughts on Paramount deal? I mean, I think it's good. Of course, in the United States, pay-per-views going away. They're kind of unifying the front. It's spreading to South America, going into Australia. Obviously, they're upping the price of Paramount Plus, but if you're a military vet, you can get half off for life for Paramount Plus, so that's good. So no more pay-per-view prices as far as we know. And national TV, so they're tied to CBS here in the United States, so it'll be on national television. Could be 20, 30, 100 million people watching potentially at one time, depending on the fight, depending on the time. They might adjust pay-per-views. They might make the pay-per-views come on at an earlier hour in the day. I think it's interesting. I hope that they actually try to innovate. Each time they've taken a step into their next broadcast deal, they have tried to innovate as much as possible. And Paramount, it's just going to be more easily accessible, if nothing else. Now, of course, everybody's talking about fighter pay. Fighter pay is obviously going to go up. There was a significant bump when they joined ESPN, when that deal was made. There was a pretty big bump when they went to Fox. There's going to be a bump, obviously. It's not going to be as big as the NBA or NFL, but you could argue those guys are getting really overpaid, and they are ruining the sport. We have number one gi jiu-jitsu coach. Is that this John Bratelli? Who are we talking about, Pessy? Let me know. Should fighters get a bigger bonus? I'd argue yes, because it would incentivize them to fight harder, go for the finish. But $50,000 is nothing to sneeze at for these guys. Some of these fighters come in and they've grown from nothing. John Bratelli. Shout out, John Bratelli. Cool stuff. We've had a couple of fighters on here, Pessy. I've had multiple fighters interact with us. Glad to have you. Can't wait to see Pessy show up on here. Pessy Jr. Gonna be on the list someday. Gonna be sitting right there under John's name. I know it. I just know it. Hey, I'll be your layup fight. We can throw a fight. We saw Isaac Dolgarian probably just did it. I'll go in there and pretend to hate you. And you can beat up on me. That's all right. Thoughts on unlimited round UFC fight? Sometimes it can be good, but you look back at the history of the UFC, we've had some fights that have gone on for a long time. Back in the Pride days, how long were those rounds? 10 minutes? The first round was 10 minutes long. Kind of rough at times. Not the biggest fan of that. Not a big fan of the Joe Rogan open mat, no time limit. Deters a lot of finishing potential can be dissuaded that way. Main event coming up. Got some video packages playing. I think women's MMA should be 3 minutes. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Judah. Some of the women's MMA, I could do without. I heard the coach Delash fought Islam friendly, but I don't know if that's true or not. Your coach fought Islam? What a connection there, if that's true. What a connection. Shout out Josh Harvey. Took a big loss today, but he's 35. Kind of on the downturn, potentially. We'll see. I mean, maybe he started fighting late. He's only had 13 fights. We were talking about this earlier. Not everybody's prime is the same. He's Russian. Oh, okay. So you're one of your coaches fought Islam. Interesting. That's kind of crazy. That's cool. I bet he's got some stories. I took a free trial class back in the day, and there was a Russian guy who was like a Georgian heavyweight. This dude was a motherfucker. Like, he was terrifying. Squashed me like a bug, man. Terrifying guy. Wait, he's 35, so he's out of his prime. I know someone who's 35. So he might be out of his fighting prime, but he's only had 13 fights. I don't know when he started fighting, so his fighting prime is different from his physical prime. And again, some guys are different. What if he was super fat when he was 32 years old? You're telling me that was his physical prime? And he hasn't gotten in better shape since then? At least we got a bathroom break before the main event. Now, I hesitate to call the co-main event of UFC 322 a bathroom break. Angela Hill, Fatima Klein. That's a bathroom break. Aaron Blanchfield, Tracy Cortez. That's a bathroom break. Could be for a different reason, but I think Shevchenko Weili is going to be a good fight. It's high level. There's a lot of stakes involved. Number 1 and 2 pound for pound in the world. It's one of the few ladies' fights that I can actually sit down and watch and enjoy. But Judah, I don't think you're crazy for saying that. You're not as crazy as some people might call you. Ooh. Hope Weili wins. I hope Weili wins as well. I think Valentina Shevchenko, she has her time in the spotlight. And she's lacking that one huge victory over a huge name to really cement herself. I mean, the Jędrzejczyk fight, Joanna, the Weili fight, that's huge, but it was so back and forth, so close, you might say, that it doesn't have... It's like, it's known as a good fight, not as her, like, oh yeah, that was her massive win. That was her career-defining win. It was her career-defining fight. If she wins this one, I think it would be an absolutely career-defining win. But we could disagree about that. But why do we have them on the main card? Maybe a prelim headliner? That would be interesting, to headline the prelims with a title fight. I think it's there because of the stakes involved. Again, number 1 and 2, ladies pound for pound. Tasteful thickness. I'm here because I'm a hater. That's right. Judah is a women's MMA hater. He doesn't even want to watch the Weili versus Shevchenko fight. I mean, shout out. That is next level hating. He's a big Tom Aspinall hater too, but we won't get into that. I'm glad you're here. Tasteful thickness. Thickness, but in a good way. I said prelim headliner. That's what I said. Right before the main card. Title fight right before it goes to pay-per-view would actually be kind of interesting. Spice it up a little bit. Maybe draw a lot of viewers to it. Then more people might buy. The Patrick Bateman business card. Ooh. That's what we're alluding to. Now I like the name even better. I thought it was just goofy, but you've got some real substance to it. I like it. Hilarious. That is a hilarious scene. Great film. Maybe a weird one. If there's any children out there watching, don't watch that one, but it's a good one. It's a good one. One day. Hilarious scene. Hilarious movie. Scary movie. At times, but hilarious. Shout out Christian Bale. Shout out Patrick Bateman and the Tasteful Thickness. The business isn't spelled correctly on that card. Tasteful fact of the evening. Really? I'll have to look into that. That is interesting. Interesting fact there. The Tasteful Thickness. Bringing in more than just MMA. Now, we usually stick to MMA, but I'll forgive it for now because we don't have a lot of people watching. Now, again, we're not doing this for the fame or the notoriety or the money. We're just having fun. But I appreciate the fun fact thickness. Appreciate it very much. How do we like Tracy Cortez's thickness? Anybody like that? That's a different level of thickness. Maybe y'all are fans of that. Main event here, 5 rounds. Vinicius Perez versus Artem Balak. A fellow Kazakhstani. Shavkat, where are you? We need you back. This main event dude looks like Timo Marco Tullio. That's a good one. That's a good one. Shout out Marco Tullio. Christian Leroy Duncan putting on an absolute banger last weekend. Marco Tullio, I don't know if I see it. I don't know if I really see it. I think the facial structure is a bit different. Tullio's got a bit of a taller, longer head, more bug-eyed. I'm not going to talk about dudes and their physical features too much. Now, I know we watch half-naked men brawl in a cage every week, but it's really the... Yo! I'm not so sure Tasteful Thickness. I think I think Patrick Bateman, I think that's a cover for your real interests. Yeah, we're not. Slow down, buddy. Slow down. That is not the way I was thinking. Now I'm definitely not going to click on that picture again. Not sure I look that closely at another man's nipples. Kevin McDonald growing out the stash. Looking older and older every week. People actually picking Leon Edwards tomorrow. I'm not picking him, but thickness, you can't rule out the fact that it's possible he can outpoint Prates to a victory. It's possible. He's still fast. Now, I know Judah doesn't think that you can be any good outside of your prime, but he's pretty fast. He's definitely faster than Prates. Maybe tomorrow it'll be a different story, but as far as I know, Leon is faster. He could outpoint him to a boring decision. Hilarious. Here we go. Round number 1. 4:30. Vinicius Perez. 11-1. Artem Balak. In the blue corner, white shorts. 11-1. 28 years old for Vinicius Perez. And 29 for Artem Balak. So two younger-ish guys. Prates saw the better version of Leon in Ian Gary already. I can see that a little bit. Great experience, and he should have finished Ian in round 5. Great cardio. I'm with you on that one. I'm not a big fan of Ian Gary. I don't know if Ian is as fast as Leon even, but similar sparring type styles I would equate them to if you want to take a broad look at the things. If you don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details, they both kind of fight in a sparring nature. Very risk-averse, danger-averse, not very fun to watch in my opinion. And Leon's kind of boring, and Ian Gary's a fucking bitch. Punk. Whatever you want to describe him as, I'm okay with that. So when you're boring and you're not a good person, it makes me really dislike you. Gary likes to sit back in the octagon. Sit in the back of the octagon, you mean. He likes to sit in the corner of the octagon in his special little chair. Special little chair. He's a bit of an odd bird, I'll give him that. Hiring your wife's ex-husband as your full-time chef who lives in the house with you. Not a good look, my friend. She's also, what, 30, almost, 30 years older than him? 25 years older than him? A little weird. Sean O'Malley's doing the wife sharing thing too. He seems to have given up a bit on the drugs and the polygamy and the video games, so maybe he's getting more serious, which it happens. You grow up, you get over things, as you should. Ian Gary is just weird. Sean O'Malley is a, what do you call it? A sinful man. Like, he has fallen into the traps of many young men these days. Ian Gary's just a fucking weirdo. Now, I think Sean's a bit of a weirdo too, but in a different way. I think he's gotten away from that, but I don't know. A little bit of a clinch wrestling fest here, not a lot. Ian Gary says, I wish I was black once. From below the waist. Yeah, I mean, like, Ian Gary literally said, my dream is that I could be a big, powerful black man. That sounds very odd to me. Just in a, like, why exactly? I mean, you married a Brazilian wife. I guess what's weird about that is I think he was trying to be funny, saying that they got, bigger dicks, right? I think he was trying to be funny there. Maybe he's got a micro peen. I don't know. The worst, though, thickness, if you're still hanging around, anybody out there, was when he spoke about Neil Magny and how Neil Magny was beating his kids because he was going to teach Ian Gary a lesson the same way he teaches a child a little bit of a lesson. I didn't think it was funny either. Just thought it was I thought it was cringy. I didn't really think it was crazy. I just thought it was really cringy and really embarrassing. And even Jamal Hill is like, that wasn't funny. You could have played that off as a joke, but it wasn't funny. The delivery was all bad. He was dead serious. Very odd. But the worst thing he did was with Neil Magny. Neil Magny. In which Neil Magny's wife and her side of the equation actually brought to court some information / some goings-on that had to deal with Ian Gary and what he was talking about. Almost got an oil check in the LFA. I'm barely paying attention. Computer enhance. Big John McCarthy getting in on the action. Ian Gary accused Neil Magny of being a child abuser. Neil Magny's wife then brought this to court to try to help her gain more custody of their children. That's awful. That's really awful. That's one of the reasons why I do not like that guy at all. He's also a pussy. Anytime he gets close to anybody that he's been talking shit about, he immediately plays it off like nothing happened. Like, oh, I didn't mean it, man. I didn't mean it. It's all promotion, man. Now, Conor McGregor talking trash to your face and then telling Khabib, like, oh, it's just promotion. It's different in a way because he was talking to him face to face when he was saying some of that stuff. Ian Gary's just typing over the internet, doing whatever his wife tells him to post, right? Lion Fart Smith accused his opponent of attacking his family. That was pretty funny, I gotta say. Now, terrible, tragic incident in that situation in which somebody broke into his house. He had to fight him off, but The whole Johnny Walker thing where he's saying, "You're trying to hurt my family." That's crazy. That's crazy. What is going on? Lionheart Smith, more like lying in a ball on the ground. I don't remember where I heard that, but after the fight with Khabib, Conor was washed. He's still got that fast twitch muscle fiber in him, but as a fighter, he's probably cooked. Probably a bit done. Now, he looked all right against Dustin Poirier in moments. Was getting the better of Dustin Poirier in moments. We've seen what Dustin Poirier had gone on to do since then, since those fights, right? So Conor's not inept in striking. You never really forget, right? You've been training for years. You never really forget. It's just about timing, right? But yeah, I mean, he's just never been that great on the ground. The cardio's an issue because he's an explosive guy. Guys that are explosive have a hard time keeping up their endurance. Endurance fighters don't have the same level of explosivity and power in their hands. Conor's an explosive guy. You can't keep that explosivity forever. More of a WrestleFest here, fellas. I don't know. I don't know if we can push through and survive this one. Bellick wants Perez back on the feet. Three minutes left to go in the second round here. Watching on Fight Pass. Sounds like somebody, Thickness I think, was watching. Not sure if anybody else is, but maybe we got somebody lurking out there in the chat. But again, you guys don't forget, like, share, comment, do the whole thing. Let's get this thing growing, get this thing spreading a little bit. Just a little bit. Just get a couple more people in here. Islam round 4 and 5 is going to be gasping and eating fat JDM face shots. Maybe so. I mean, JDM did go 5 hard rounds with Bilal. How is Islam going to carry that new weight? Got more weight on him. He was not looking the best in round 5 against Volk. He couldn't wait for that Volk fight to be over. He's got a high pace and a high pressure. I'm a fan of Islam, but you're not wrong here, Thickness. Not wrong at all. I do like myself some Islam Makhachev. Easily the best, most entertaining Dagestani fighter. Khabib Nurmagomedov also enjoyed Khabib. Because he does damage, because he's aggressive, because he got after it. Umar's pretty fun to watch as well. Usman Nurmagomedov, not too bad himself. Very active, good, flashy striker. I like him as well. Excuse me. It's pretty much all the Abdulmanap guys, for the most part. I mean, there's some outliers, but most of the Abdulmanap Dagestanis, Khabib's father, most of the guys that trained with him have turned out to be pretty good. I'm going to guess Islam is going to win in the 3rd or 4th round by submission. That's my guess. That's my take. That's probably my leaning. I bet on Bautista in that fight. Plus 460 was a big brain move now that people saw how it played out. Close on that knee, right? And he fucked up Umar's foot in the 1st round, too. Guy's dynamic and fast. Scrambles were insane in that fight, and he almost won. It was closer than I thought. He definitely showed some new wrinkles, right? Mario Bautista showed me more new stuff than Umar did. I'm not a big fan of Mario. I think since he's gotten into the rankings, he's been a bit lackluster, a bit boring, a bit slow, a bit risk averse. But this one, he did get after it, and I did appreciate that. So his stock went up a little bit in my mind. His stock was pretty high, and then he kind of hit the rankings, and then the Jose Aldo fight. That was rough. Rough to watch. But the Umar fight, landed the knee, fucked up Umar's foot in the 1st round. Not a bad showcase for Mario Bautista. Even in a loss, he showed new wrinkles to the game that I hadn't seen before. Like you said, dynamic, fast. Wasn't just point fighting. Wasn't just wrestling, wasn't just clinch grappling. Good scrambles, like you said. Umar didn't hold him down for 5 minutes straight. Round 3 coming up. Not a ton going on here. We had, of course, as Thickness alluded to, bit of an oil check a few minutes ago, but kind of a wrestling fest. Spinning back fist attempt landed on the arms. Man, that stinks that you lost that bet, though. That would have cashed big time, wouldn't it? I'm the fucking man. You're the fucking man, Productions. Showing up here. Boring ass stream. I don't even have a timer running, fellas. I'm so cheap, I ain't even got a timer running. We're just watching fights and watching guys get, I wouldn't say exposed, that's the wrong word, but violated in this one. Bit of a wrestling fest here. If you're getting TKO'd by Muhammad, Morales is going to smash you. Yeah, but it was back in the day. He doesn't want to say what was going on. Maybe an injury. Wasn't in the right mindset. It's also been a lot of time. And Sean Brady, he's improved leaps and bounds since then. He beat Gilbert Burns so easily. Yeah, but Gilbert, he's not been looking too good, Productions. Let's be honest here. That's not the best Gilbert Burns. The Gilbert Burns that JDM beat already wasn't tip-top prime Gilbert Burns. And then it was a year and a half or 2 years, damn near 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, I mean a year and a half later that Gilbert fought Michael Morales, and he'd taken even more damage. Looked even worse. Cold in Miami. I need to warm up. Cold, you talking like low 70s? That's cold for you down in Miami, isn't it? Headbutt, eye poke, I just missed it. I'm reading. I'm looking at one thing and the other. Head clash, maybe. Pires is bleeding from the head. Oh, yeah. Side of Pires' head right to the eyebrow of Belloc. 59 down in Miami. That does sound pretty chilly for Florida. Plus, it's dry. The dew point's very low. It's always so humid in Florida when I've been. I got Pires by Peruvian. Penis twist in this one. Hey, they're inventing new submissions every day. It's entirely possible. You know, that metal tie cup that Belloc might be wearing could be a serious advantage for Pires. I'm getting ready to head to Cali, though. Oh, we're talking. This is a serious move. I know you were talking about this, but you're being totally dead serious? Been in Florida for way too long. I'd like to move to Florida. Seems like a nice place. Nice place to vacation. Probably wouldn't hate living there, although it is pretty hot and sticky. Tomorrow's going to be the best card of the year. Let's hope so. Will it outdo 314 back in Miami earlier this year? Hey, good for you, man. Good for you. He's growing up, moving out, moving along. It's probably the best card on paper. It does suck that Cody pulled out, but I'm glad that we at least get to see Cody Malcolm Wellmaker. Maybe, hey, you know what though? Maybe this means that Cody Haddon can be on that February card. If he broke his foot, hopefully it's not serious. Maybe he can make that turnaround fight in February. I have the luxury of being able to work from home, so I can live anywhere. See? I do not. I do not, so it's awesome. Love to hear that. They have grapefruit spoons in Florida. It's like a curvy knife to cut out the segments. I have not seen those. Maybe I have. Are they just the spoons that have a slight serration on the sides? Yeah, it sucks, man. He was going to give him a tough fight. I think tougher than Ethan Ewan. However, Ethan's got a giant head on him. It's very rare to be able to work from home. Yeah, it is. I'm glad that you can, man. That's awesome. And I'm glad you can make enough money to move to California. I know a lot of people are moving out of California, but no, it's not. That spoon with serrations. I don't know what it is. There's spoons for like spaghetti that have grooves in them, thickness. We're talking about two different things. Maybe we're talking about the same thing. Ethan's head is giant. Yeah, I think my place in LA is going to be $1,800 a month. Oh. But you're right, though. You have to pay a lot in taxes. See, that's the thing. State taxes down in Florida different. That was the cheapest. That's why I would go down to Florida. That was the cheapest place I could find. Oh my goodness. Oh. I mean, I think I could afford it. Now, being able to eat would be a different question. Honestly, it's worth it, though. I'll pay the high price for the California climate. Look, if that's what you're looking for, more power to you. More power to you. And again, I know a lot of people are moving out of California for the politics and whatnot. Again, we're not a politics show. We're not going to talk about that. But if you can deal with that, too, whether you agree or disagree, that's fine. Yeah, having cool weather all year, it makes me happy. Probably nicer than 100 degrees in sticky, sweaty Florida, I'll be honest. But that no state tax is pretty nice down in Florida. It's like a natural air conditioner living on the coast. Oof, that'll be nice too. I'm sure that'll be nice. I'm not near the beach at all. I wouldn't know. Florida isn't... Productions, tell me if I'm wrong. I've heard that anywhere you go in Florida, you're less than an hour away from the beach. Is that true? I think in Dubai they pay like no taxes at all. Well, they'll also chop your hand off if you commit a slight crime. I don't know if we should, Anyway, is 1,800 high? 20 years ago, a cheap place was 1,000 East Coast. 1,800 I wouldn't say is high. It's just more than I want to pay. It's just, personally, that's a lot of money. I mean, Dubai, the Middle East, I mean, they're great tourist attractions, right? But, like, how they rule the people of the country and whatnot and stuff like that, not the best. So as nice as Dubai and the cities might be, I'd be curious what it looks like when you step out beyond the cities. The empty cities of Riyadh and Dubai and whatever. 100% right. Maybe. Good place to visit, but they're fucking their people up. Yeah, exactly. All the rich people live in the cities, right? And then the normal everyday citizens, the peasants, they live out in the sand dunes and blah, 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 and got to struggle to live. Wherever I live, I got to be close to the beach, whether it's California or Florida. See? It's nice that you're able to do that. That is fucking sick, man. I love it. Don't tell me too much. I might come in there and, squatters' rights and whatnot. Wouldn't want to live in Vegas or somewhere in the desert. I mean, the desert's got its advantages in some ways, but yeah, not ideal. I like being on the water. White people need some cold or our spirit drops. It depends. Depends. Miami's a lot like the, close-ish to what? The Caribbean down there. That's the thing, too, is, like, we've all got the same DNA. But the way that we look, we all stem from the same place. We all come from the same place, but we all have adapted slightly our skin color, our facial structures, our bodily structures because of where we moved to in the world, right? Evolution. We developed these features, right? What do you think about Joshua Van's chances of beating Pantoja? Very slim. I think Pantoja can easily sub him. Man, I can hear these clowns driving these loud-ass cars down the street in Miami. Miami is a fun place to visit. Maybe not a fun place to live, downtown Miami. The out of Africa theory is busted. Your schooling is out of date. I don't know what the fuck, Thickness. I don't know what to think. But, I mean, listen, people have their adaptations, right? I don't care about it. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I don't really care either. But we all kind of have acclimated to our own places, right, Thickness? That is a true thing. I mean, shout out Pessy. I mean, the Asians have the more slitted eyes because of the snow, right? Isn't that a thing coming down from the north? Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I've read about that. That's why they have those snow goggles with the little slits in them. I forgot that fight even happened. It's literally a non-event. He beat Kara France so easily. I forgot about that too. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, thickness. I don't give a fuck. You're probably smarter than I am. I don't know. I don't know, man. But we're all built differently. We're all built differently in a little way. But I don't really give a shit. Don't really care. I forgot that fight even happened. Literally non-existent. I'm just glad we can enjoy these guys barefoot. Thickness. We're getting a little sus here. We're talking about race and bare feet and... Interesting topic here. Pantoja honestly could be pound for pound number 1 right now. Merab number 2. Pantoja's damn good. I do like myself some pants. Some big pants. I do enjoy him. Great fighter. Gritty fighter. Nasty. Is he the best at anything? No, not really. But just gritty. Again, the only guy to have beaten him in the last, 7 years? 6 years? Davison Figueiredo. Huge punching power. Pound for pound is hard right now. Lots of great guys on top. Yeah, it's too much. Too much going on. That's why, to me, when we talk about goats of the sport, I like to go division by division. Hard to pick one guy out of the bunch. Because flyweight is the most skilled division, he's ruling that division. Is it the most skilled, or is bantamweight the most skilled? Those guys are so technical. They are. So many elite champions right now. So many entertaining champions. Pantoja, Merab, Volk, Ilia Topuria, JDM, very entertaining. Middleweight, Chimaev, outside of the Dricus fight, very entertaining, but Dricus was very entertaining as well, so either way you flip it. Pereira, super entertaining. Magomed might be better from a skill perspective, but Alex is the more entertaining fighter. Tom Aspinall, I find him more entertaining than Ciryl Gane. Maybe he's not as good as Ciryl Gane. Maybe Ciryl Gane would have beaten him, but I think he's more entertaining. We've got a lot of entertaining champions. The guys that aren't necessarily the best, but damn good. 135, you could also argue is the most skilled. Charles, very interesting. Can't forget about Charles. Listen, we've got a lot of entertaining guys at the top of these divisions. Lucas Tracy said that Jan is the most skilled fighter. I hesitate to say that. I don't think so. I think he's probably more skilled than Merab. I think that's fair. Most skilled, I don't know. I would love to see Ilia Topuria on the ground more, but to just walk right through Charles's guard like he did. Islam Makhachev, how well-rounded that guy is. Fantastic striking, dominant grappling. But you have to put lighter guys on a sliding scale. Imagine Gane carried around 150 pounds less. You'd have to rate that. Some skill comes from ability to move a smaller frame. This is true. I don't disagree. Ciryl Gane definitely doesn't pack the same kind of punch that he needs to at lightweight or at heavyweight. But if he was lighter and he had that kind of footwork and movement, Merab is beating people based on just grit. I won't say most skilled. As it pertains to Charles, Charles is very skilled, very good in the stand-up, very, very good jiu-jitsu. Wrestling, I mean, he took down Michael Chandler, but Michael Chandler was not fighting the same. Just an iron will, incredible cardio. Yep. What is this, final round? I've barely been paying attention. If I wasn't talking to you guys, I'd be falling asleep, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of entertaining guys right now at the top. Magomed Ankalaev is... Him and Vadim Nemkov, to me, are the two best technical fighters in the light heavyweight division. But I think Yuri can beat a Magomed. I think Yuri could beat a Nemkov. I think we've already seen that happen. Or did Nemkov win? Somebody correct me out there if I'm wrong. And Alex obviously finished Yuri and finished Magomed in the second fight. Not even close. They're more entertaining. I want to see all-action fighters who are more entertaining. I'm not disregarding the skill levels. People forget, man. GM3, he's a marauder. I hesitate to call him a marauder, but comeback king? Submission king at middleweight? Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. GM3, baby. Can he shock the world again and beat Kyle Dawkins? I'm ready to turn these fucking LFA fights off. This is trash. Gerald Meerschaert, 37-20. How can Judah say this guy sucks when he's just because his record says 37-20? He's got the most submissions at middleweight, man. 37? He's 37 years of age. Why don't we get a 38th win just in time for your 38th birthday, GM3? You think it's the least consequential bout on the card? Thickness. I think we're forgetting someone. I think we're forgetting a fight here. Late notice, slapped on this card to add, what, a good opening fight? Borshev and Camilo is easily the least consequential bout. Kyle Dawkins finishing Michel Pereira and potentially finishing GM3, those are two solid wins. I think there's some consequences there. Mateus Camilo, Vyacheslav Borshev, I don't really care about either too much. Now, Vyacheslav Borshev hasn't been in a boring fight. Camilo, on the other hand, he's had a stinker or two, but I think that one should be a fun little scrap to open up the card. I disagree. I think Angela Hill, she's probably ranked, isn't she? It might be the second least consequential. I could argue that Chep Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini is also less impactful. But I do like Chep Mariscal. I'm a fan. Good grief. Come on, fellas. Do something. Balak just getting pressed up against the cage here. Gonna put me to sleep. Looking for elbows. He's scoring the points, doing the damage here. That's what I like to hear from the commentary. Just because you're wrestling and changing the position up doesn't mean you're doing damage or winning the fight. If the other guy's punching you in the face while you're sitting on top of him, that doesn't mean you're winning the fight. It means you're winning the wrestling match, but not the fight. It's a fight for a reason. We got one more minute of this. Might fall asleep before then, so you guys keep the comments flowing. Keep the conversation going for just a little bit longer. Just a little longer. Very much a lackluster main event here. Why? Why did I sit through this one? Yuck. Last 30 seconds. Come on. Come on, boys. Let's do something here. Oh, Balak. Oh, he's got him done. He's down and out. Perez is finished. What are we doing? Where's the ref? He didn't stop it. They're giving Vinicius Perez so much rope here. Oh, my goodness. I thought he was out on the ground. The follow-up shots on the ground. Holy shit. Big elbows. That's it. Right at the bell. Thank God. Oh, my God. Good documentary on him. Interesting. Okay. Not a big golf fan. I don't know a lot about Tiger Woods, to be honest with you. I know he's massive. Know he's popular. Oh, did it go to decision? Oh, my goodness. It looks like they're going to decision. What the fuck's going on? The referee stepped in and looked like he waved it off. But Belloc grabs the foot as Perez, the champion, throws a kick, topples him over. I think he finished him. He's literally out on the floor. The referee jumps back in there, doesn't stop it. I'm sorry, Thickness. I'm sorry. I should have told you what time I was at. I should have told you. I apologize. But tell me he wasn't out when he initially followed up with that ground and pound. He's literally bouncing his head off the canvas. And then he wakes back up. Bad stoppage. Now they got to go to the decision. Damn, dude. I hope Balak wins it. Just based on that finishing sequence. Somebody was hungry to get a finish, and that was Balak in this one. Bell sounded the end of the fight. No. Back it up 10 seconds. He drops him. He wasn't out cold when he dropped him, but he's pinging his head straight off the canvas. His eyes are literally nowhere to be found. Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape. I think if they stopped it with those initial ground and pound follow-ups, I wouldn't have complained. It would have been a good stoppage after those initial ground and pound follow-up shots. Put him down bad. He was lost, and then he took him out, put him away, and then the ref just let him continue. Ah, fuck, man. What are we doing? I think he should have. I think he could have. It wasn't that small of a window. He went out and then woke back up, and he's just bobbing his head. Stop the fight. He's standing right there. This isn't Czech Congo getting his head buzzed, bouncing right back up, getting his chin spun around, jumping right back up. He didn't know where the fuck he was. And he went out for like half a second, getting his head pinged off the canvas. I'm also just looking for a fucking finish. And new. Thank goodness. He deserves it after that near finishing sequence. Artem Balak. Pretty shitty fight up to the end there. Maybe I'm just hopeful for some interesting action. But I will say, he was trying to do damage. Do any of us know where we really are? I can't say I've been put out like that too many times. I'm glad that Artem wins it. He was actually hunting for the damage here. They were both grappling back and forth in moments, but he was actually trying to do some damage. Broken foot, maybe? Says he fought 5 rounds with a broken leg. Shout out if that's true. On to the next. Shout out to Artem Balak. Maybe we'll see him in the UFC soon. New LFA bantamweight champion. Not sure he poses any threat to Merab anytime soon, but looks like a scrappy, tough guy. But I don't know. He fought with food poisoning and a hangnail too. Oh, those are the worst. Those are the worst. Thinks it's a big problem for the bantamweight division. I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I'd need to see a little more. Jack is going to take Islam out. That would be absolute insanity. Productions. Listen. Either way, I'm going to be real hyped. I'm going to be sweating, man. Sweating that one out. Islam, if he wins, could cement himself as one of the best to ever do it. Break Anderson Silva's win streak. If JDM does it, he thwarts the unkillable Dagestani, takes down the undefeatable Islam Makhachev, It would be fucking epic. Either way you spin it. Dude, I'm so excited for the main event. I'm going to be sweating, trembling, shaking. This is the kind of matchup that we rarely get to see. Very rarely get to see. Woo. I don't know, boys. I think that'll do it for me here tonight. We're going to hop out of here very soon, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for Judah for keeping this thing running. I know we were yelling back and forth at each other a bit, but shout out to Judah for keeping this thing going. Otherwise, I probably would have fallen asleep. Tasteful Thickness, of course. Shout out to American Psycho, that movie. Productions, of course, was jumping in here. Pessy Jr. fighting out of Ashburn Top Team. Shout out Ashburn Top Team. Suffering a loss tonight, but glad to hear from them. Super excited for UFC 322. We got to talk about it as we went through the show tonight. LFA card, a little bit of lackluster fighting going on in the main event, but nearly a finishing sequence to close out the night. That got me a bit high on the fight game. We got UFC 322 tomorrow. Hard to pick the main card. Looking forward to this one. Really, really excited. Great prelims. Couple of women's fights that we might have to slog through for anybody who doesn't like those. But Angela Hill, she's a tough legend. Fatima Klein coming off a head kick knockout. Camilo Borshev's going to be a scrap to start. Bysinger, big prospect. Chepe Mariscal. Hopefully he'll overcome the underdog status and beat Pat Sabatini. Kyle Dog is probably going to run through the Marauder GM3. Malcolm Wellmaker taking on a guy on 36 hours notice. Heavy hands, probably going to finish him, but we'll see. Ethan Ewing's got the biggest head I've ever seen on a human being. Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodriguez, going to be a brawl, going to be a fun one, no doubt. Rodolfo Vieira, Bo Nickel returns. Vieira, the jiu-jitsu versus the wrestling of Bo Nickel. We'll see what happens there. Beneil Dariush, great grappler, gritty stand-up fighter. Benoit Saint-Denis, an absolute fucking warrior on the feet. He might get it done via knockout. Some are saying that. Leon Edwards, does he still have it in him? He's 34 years old. Carlos Prates, dangerous. Absolute chaos on the feet. Absolute killer on the feet. Micah Morales, the physical monster, 18-0 undefeated, taking on Sean Brady, who's just an absolute tactician on the ground. Some say Carlos is going to smash him. Zhang by KO is another pick. Zhang Weili, powerhouse, smaller fighter, moving up. Number 1 and 2, pound for pound here in the women's fight. This is one of the few ladies' main card title fights that I can actually stand to watch, so I'll be tuned in, sitting in, locked in for that one. Very rare to have me locked in for a women's fight, and that'll be one of those. So that tells you that it's a damn good fight. And then JDM, Islam Makhachev. If this stays in boxing range, JDM will likely piece up Makhachev. Great scrambles, learning from Craig Jones and Alex Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev, though, his striking is being overrated in my opinion. I think he can get it done via sub. That's what my brain is telling me, but what my heart is telling me is Jack Della Maddalena rides this one out, proves that the Dagestanis can be beaten no matter how good they are, and he may or may not prevail. Anyway, I'll leave you guys there. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, get this thing going. I'll see you guys after the fights conclude. Not going to live stream this one. You guys watch your other favorite content creators, whoever they are. We just don't have enough shit going here, so we're going to take a pause for the live streaming of the UFC events. Plus, I want to enjoy them with the fam, sit down with the fam and enjoy them as much as possible. If I can. We'll see what happens, though. I'll see you, Productions. Thank you for showing up. This, again, is as much you guys' show as it is mine, so I thank you all for being here. Everybody who dropped a chat, everybody who commented, everybody we argued with tonight, all the fellas. Everybody, I enjoyed y'all. Even the lurkers who might have been out there not commenting one single word, I appreciate you too. That's what keeps this thing running. Otherwise, I'd be falling asleep talking to myself for hours and hours and hours. But until tomorrow, until Sunday morning, Saturday night, whatever time it may be for you, we got 173 coming down the pipe. UFC 322 goes down tomorrow. Look out for a post-fight recap. Maybe a post-fight live stream. Hopefully I can get that going if I'm not falling asleep, because tomorrow, Saturday, gonna be a long day of fights. From dawn till dusk, we got fights. The next 24 hours, the next 48 hours, We are loaded up with fights. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. Don't forget, again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the whole thing. Let's get this thing going. Let's get this thing growing. Again, not for the fame, not for the money, but just for the community and just to build something good here, something fun where we can all talk shit on each other. That's what I like, because what's not fun if you can't make fun of each other a little bit? Anyway, you guys have a great night. Have a good day tomorrow. Maybe it's already Saturday. Maybe it's already getting closer and closer to those fights. We're what, 18 hours, 16 hours from those UFC fights? Can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. Again, you guys have a great one. Have a good night. Sleep well. One more sleep for me. Maybe you don't have to sleep any longer. UFC 322 coming at you fast, coming at you quick, coming straight down the pipe, right up in your nose, right up in your grill. It's going to hit you hard, hit you fast. We'll see you then. We'll see you afterwards. Have a good night, everybody.